Hey everyone. So today we're going to be looking at the top 10 best combinations for Venus in your horoscope. So we're going to look at combinations that really make millionaires and billionaires. Will you be able to rule the world, right? Venus could show you this. Venus could show you if you have the right combinations, you could really dominate the world, right? Because it's really money and that like dominates everyone, right? That's the thing that drives everyone, right? Money and wealth, right? So we'll look at some combinations of Venus that let you really like rule this world, right? The people who are really in power, they have some of these combinations of Venus, right? We're going to look at combinations that give you the best spouse, right? A spouse who's really loving and devoted, right? Or a spouse who is very uh, powerful or religious, right? We're going to look at combinations that give you a great family life, right? All these things could be seen from Venus, right? So we're going to be going down through all these combinations, uh, and we'll be ranking them, some of these combinations from really what'll get you to the top of this world, right? So let's see over here, right? So number 10. So what do we have here? We have Saturn, Venus in the seventh house, and right, pay attention to the sign that we're putting here. Here we're saying Saturn, Venus, seventh house in Libra, right? Number seven also represents Libra here, right? So right off the bat, this kind of looks like a weird combination to have on a top 10 list because already we have Venus associated with the malefic, right? Saturn, right? So how could Venus being with the malefic get you like one of the top 10 combinations, right? So here, what this does is, first of all, Saturn is exalted in Libra, right? So Saturn being exalted, now Venus is also the Lord of Libra, right? So you have exalted Saturn sitting with its Lord Venus, right? So when an exalted planet sits with its dispositor, in this case, exalted Saturn sits with its Lord Venus, right? This amplifies the effect. This gives so much power to this house, right? Now you do also have to realize here what kind of power, what kind of effect is this giving, right? Now this may not be great for marriage, right? Saturn seventh house doesn't give the most like loving marriage. But what this does is this gives uh this makes a person very good at law, right? These people are really great decision makers, right? These people, they're great at thinking things through. They know how to think of all the options first. And you'll see when these people, when they're making a decision, they'll really have thought through everything, all the pros, all the cons, and then they'll make their decision. They'll have all the backup plans ready. They'll have all the ideas, all the possibilities thought out, and they'll come to their decision through this. These are not the people to rush a decision and just say, "Oh, let's just pick this or let's just do that." These people think thoroughly, and you'll see they'll always make the best decision because they know all of the outcomes, right? This is also a great combination for lawyers and judges, right? Saturn's the planet of karma, right? So he decides your karma. He is the bringer of justice, right? While you're on the earth, right? So Saturn does this. This is why Saturn here in seventh house brings judges or lawyers, right? Some association with law, right? So these people are great at that. The other thing, this also makes for very deep thinkers. These guys are very philosophical. They think about the deeper questions in life, right? They'll think about things like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Right? So these guys have a very deeper understanding, and you'll see the wisdom that they have. It's the wisdom, it's very profound wisdom, Like think about like those old ancient people, right? Like old people who are in like their 90s, right? The type of wisdom that they'll give, right? This is the type of wisdom that these guys will have, right? Because they've been through a lot and uh, they understand all the things that happen, right? And they've asked those deeper questions of why am I doing this? Right? So these people, this is also really great for like people like psychologists or philosophers. That's the word, right? So philosophers, that this is a great combination for them. So these people are great thinkers. You'll also see this combination too, right? Normally, if Venus was alone in Libra, this would have made a person they would just spend their money like nonstop. Like they'll buy all the luxury brands, right? They'll buy like their Gucci bags or Calvin Klein or Rolex or whatever other luxury brands, right? But what Saturn does, it makes this Venus more grounded, right? So these people, they're just not gonna toss their money out and buy every single thing that they see and go on thousands and thousands of dollars of, a spending spree. They'll think a bit more. They'll think about, okay, do I need this money for anything else? Can I use this money in a better way? Can I invest this money? Right? This is where like the deep thinker and right where they make their choices, right? So you'll see these people are really, really great with that stuff, right? They're a lot more grounded and practical, right? So this is what makes this combination really great. Now let's go to number 9. This is another combination that's going to look very weird and very strange because you have Venus in the eighth house in Scorpio with K2, right? So Venus K2 alone in the eighth house would also give this effect, right? Scorpio is just here for extra more of this like K2 and eighth house energy, right? So just Venus K2 alone in eighth house will bring this effect, right? So why is this combination on the list? And it'll seem a little strange, right? Again, Venus with another malefic here, right? There's a reason this combination isn't higher on the list, right? So what this combination will do, this makes a person very interested in um, different forms of mysticism and occult. So you'll see these people, they're very interested, like very much intrigued by things like tarot card reading, right? Here we have a tarot card. Uh, they'll also be very interested in things like astrology, palm reading, right? These kind of things, they're very interested. And you'll see if you ask a person with this combination, they'll be very good at this stuff. If you ask them, to read your birth chart, for example, they'll give you insights that nobody else would ever give you, right? If you give them uh like if you ask them to read tarot cards, right? For example, like tarot cards is something a little different. You're not reading something exactly on paper, right? Like how astrology you're reading planets, right? But here these people are really good with this because they'll get the messages from the other world, right? They'll get the messages from different dimensions, different higher energy beings, right? The beings that we can't see with our eyes, right? Remember, K2 has no eyes, right? All the beings that we can't see with our eyes, these people will be able to communicate with them, right? So people like psychics will have a combination like this because they'll be able to communicate with uh, with the people we can't see, our loved ones who have passed away, right? Any spirits that are around us, right? That's these people, right? And Venus in the eighth house, why is Venus here, right? Because Venus also is a planet who's associated with things like Tantra, right? So Venus here gives these people interest in these kind of things as well, right? In things like, because remember, the difference between Venus and Jupiter, Jupiter will do all the sattvic things, right? To help you progress in life, right? Like doing a mantra or doing a puja, for example, or prayer, going to a temple to make things happen, right? But Venus Venus is the guru for the demons, right? So he gets all, how does he get like all these other things? He makes you do things like the Tantra, right? Do things like black magic or rituals or right spells, things like this, right? This is what Venus is also good at, right? So Venus in eighth house here, it gives them that knowledge and that knowing, right? And the willingness to do these kind of things. And associated with K2 here gives them this association with unseen beings, right? And that really deep understanding of mysticism. They're not afraid to try, and they'll understand the rituals on how to do all these things, right? These people, for example, if you go to them and they read your chart, these people will give you remedies that will be out of this world. Like they'll be so good, so detailed, right? They'll give you the full procedure of what you need to do, and they'll give you remedies, things that are like, you know, um, you know, take take the sap from this particular tree, mix it with I don't know, buffalo milk, and then keep it in the sun for this amount of time. Like doing rituals like that and tantric rituals, like these people are great with that, right? And they'll give you remedies that'll really work, right? And again, yeah, they'll be very much interested in mysticism, right? Occult knowledge, things like you'll see these people will be 100%. They will be interested in things like your chakras, right? Things like understanding our spirit, understanding the well, I guess here the true anatomy of man, right? The true anatomy that we have, the true energy and untapped energy that's we've never been taught. These people will be interested, and you'll see these people will definitely they'll do like things that you'll never imagine. Like they'll be able to like these people they'll be able to do crazy things like magical things that you would have never imagined possible, right? But they'll definitely be interested with this stuff, right? So this is a great combination for spirituality, right? Now, moving on to number 8. So, what do we have here? Venus, Mercury in the 12th house, right? And in the sign of Gemini, right? Number 3 is Gemini. So, this may seem like a little strange of a combination as well. Now, you have two benefics, Venus and Mercury in the 12th house. Now, Venus naturally it gets exalted in the 12th house, right? Because Venus does well in Pisces, right? It gets exalted in Pisces, which is the number 12, right? Which is naturally the 12th house. So Venus naturally does really great in the 12th house, has the energy of that exaltation. Now, Mercury gets debilitated here. So it seems a little odd, right? But this gives um, a very unique combination here, right? So let's see. What this will do is Venus, Mercury, Gemini in 12th house, right? These people will have imagination like nobody else, right? These guys will, you'll see that these guys could be alone because they can imagine things and play on their own, right? Because they could, play with their toys and imagine things like space cowboys or, uh, imagine, flying, right? Like these guys have imagination to and just think of things that like most people just might not be able to think of, right? Even when they're older too, they'll still have this energy. They'll be able to think outside of the box, right? So they have this amazing creativity that comes with them, right? Like that's the word here, creativity, right? And what you have to understand here, right? I know in the modern world, people may not value creativity as much because they say, go be a doctor or an engineer, right? But what you have to realize is that this creativity, this is the energy of Brahma that's being instilled into you, right? You have an energy of the creator God, right? And who would not want to have that energy of that creator God, right? You have a blessing when you have this combination, right? When you have this imagination of creativity, right? So this is a blessing like no other, right? Um, you'll see that these guys as well, they're phenomenal writers. Like these guys can make really great fiction novels, right? Like the people who made like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, right? Like these are really great fiction novels, right? With completely different worlds and with magic and right people flying on broomsticks, right? This combination gives this creativity to do that, right? 12th house is the outer worlds, right? Is the space, the galaxy, right? Everything outside of the earth, right? The higher realms, right? And and Gemini here is the sign of writing, right? So Mercury in Gemini makes like a writer, right? And Venus gives that creativity, right? Um, so all of this paired together, they have such creative writing, right? And again, this is still the energy of Brahma, right? Because look at what Brahma did. He created this whole universe. And what did he do? He wrote it down, right? He wrote down everything that's about to happen, right? He knows what happens past, present, future. It's all written down. And that's what these people are doing as well, right? They're creating their own universe and they're writing it down, right? So these guys have such a unique blessing of Brahma, right? And this is one of those things, one of those blessings that, don't let anyone take this away from you. It's such a blessing, right? If other people are forcing you to do this or that, no, you have this blessing, right, of a God, right? The creator God, right? So this is what's really great about this combination, right? All right. Moving on to number seven. Number seven, we have Jupiter Venus in the fifth house in Sagittarius. So what makes this combination really great is you have two gurus in the fifth house, right? And is in Sagittarius, which itself is the guru sign. It's Jupiter's sign, right? So, fifth house is the house of education, and you have both gurus there in Sagittarius, the guru sign, right? You can imagine these people will be brilliant in school. You'll see these people will do so well in school. They'll be like the class of genius, right? And their genius is on a different level because these guys, they are able to like they're not just memorizing whatever is written on the board. These guys know their subjects inside and out, right? These guys really know what they're doing. They understand a topic like no one else. Like once you've explained it to them, they'll understand it and they'll be able to make something new with this concept, right? They're able to apply it and be like, oh, okay, um, you know, uh, a current generates a magnetic field. Okay, I know how I could use this idea to make electromagnets. I know how to, I bet we could use this idea to make this item or this item, right? They have that understanding and creativity and that fundamental knowledge, right? And understanding of their craft, right? So these people are brilliant in school. These people they'll always be getting 90%, 100% on their tests. Like they will be doing amazing in everything, right? you'll see these people also are extremely religious, right? They're very religious. They'll know how to do things like hawans. Like they'll even tell you, they'll be like, okay, these are the mantras that should be chanted during a hawan, right? This is the procedures. Like they'll know this stuff. They'll have a natural interest with this kind of stuff, right? For example, if you teach them a mantra, right, what they'll do, they'll look up the meaning of every single word and they'll look up the meaning of the mantra in general, right? These people are very naturally curious with religion and um, they know, they understand religion inside and out, right? You'll see these people are very much devoted to God, right? So that's this combination. On to number 6, right? And from here, let's see what we have. So, Venus, Jupiter in the 12th house in Pisces, right? Again, another Venus Jupiter combination. But what makes this a good combination is that Venus is exalted here, right? Venus is exalted in the 12th house and is with Jupiter. Now, Venus is with Venus is in Pisces, which is Jupiter's sign, right? So Venus is exalted sitting with its dispositor Jupiter. And again, just like in number 10, this makes this combination extremely powerful, right? This is probably there's a reason like this is a bit higher on this list, right? This is an extremely powerful combination, right? So what does this do, right? You'll see that this combination, these people are so interested in spirituality. 100% these people will do meditation, right? Um, and they will seek enlightenment, right? And you'll see these people in this life, what they're doing, right? They are preparing themselves for the afterlife, right? They're preparing themselves for what's to come after they leave their body, right? So they will acquire spiritual knowledge and spiritual energy, right? They'll do all the practices that make them spiritually strong and powerful, right? So these people, you'll see these people have a very strong energy to them. Like when you're around them, you'll feel very calm, very safe, and you'll feel like all your anxiety and worries are going away when you're with this person, right? So this is a really great combination, right? These people will understand all the techniques and know all the different ways to raise their energy, right? So that they could be a more powerful and magnetic person, right? You'll see these people as well. They'll be very interested in the cycle of life and death, right? They'll be very interested in, you'll see these people will be very interested in learning what happens after the soul leaves the body, right? They'll love to read about the journey that the soul goes through. What are the different realms that exist, right? What are the different possibilities after you leave this body, right? These people will be very much interested in these topics, right? So again, what makes this very powerful is that, well, this 12th house of leaving your body, right, and getting liberated. This is the ultimate goal of existence, right? It's to eventually be liberated and to return back to the source energy, right, into God energy, right? Is to merge back, right? Even Krishna says this, right? The ultimate goal is that everybody comes back to me, right? So you'll see these people are preparing themselves and are getting one step closer to joining back to the original God energy, right? So these people will do that, right? That's what makes them so powerful, that they know as well the procedure to do this. They know all the techniques. They know how. what type of meditation you should do, what type of things you should be eating, what type of uh, they will especially be interested in things like pranayam, right? Breath work. How do you breathe properly to increase your energy, right? That's what's really great about these people. And that's what gives them such an energy beyond what everybody else has, right? It gives them a spiritual energy. And you'll see these people, especially when they're more advanced, they will develop a love for everybody as they're getting more of this God energy within them and as they're awakening more, right? You'll see them get this energy, right? Okay, let's move on to number 5. And now that we hit number 5, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, um, and hit the bell icon for more. So, number 5, right? We have Mercury, Venus in the third house in Taurus, right? So, we've seen a Mercury, Venus combination so far. And in that combination, what that did, it made, when this was in the 12th house, it made a person a very creative writer, right? Now, what happens here, right? And remember, last combination, it was also in Gemini, right? But now this is happening um, in the third house, right? So it's a somewhat still, it's a similar energy, but still a little different, right? So what this is going to make, you'll see these people, they'll be artists, they'll be painters, they'll be creators, right? These people will be very much interested in uh, things like arts and crafts, for example, right? These people would be really great in like things like theater and um, music, right? These people are really great with that, right? So you see, this makes the combination for musician, artists, painters, right? Definitely these guys, you'll see these guys will have a really, really great voice, right? They'll communicate in such a like people love hearing their voice because they'll be like, oh, your voice is so calming and soothing, right? These people will also give really great advice, right? You'll see that as well. This combination, it it also makes people very good at managing money, right? And this is because this combination is also happening in Taurus, right? Which is a natural sign of money and wealth, right? Uh, Two is the original energy of the second house of money, right? So we see these people also be really great at things like business and managing money, right? So these people, and they're very intelligent with money too. You'll see these people really know how to invest and do all these things, right? They know how to negotiate. They know how to make the most amount of money and plan with their money, right? They're really great with that. Um, right? So this is great for two reasons, right? It gives them an artistic ability, right? Which, if you think about it, this artistic ability that they have, right? They have a blessing like no other, right? Because you'll see these people, they're either really good singers or they'll like to sing or play music, right? But they're really good with sound, right? So what this does, right, is that remember, it is stated, right, even in the Bhagavatam and stated even in other religions, even in Christianity, in the Bible, it's stated as well, right? But it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that um, that the first energy, at first, at the beginning of creation, the first thing that was created was sound, was the sound Om, right? Even in the Bible, you'll hear it's, I think it's Amen, right? I think that's the sound, right? But you'll see that across even different religions, it's sound that was created first, right? And these people know how to bring sound in music, right? Because think about it, it's musicians who and music that's able to change your mood, right? It can make you very energetic if you want to go to the gym. It can make you very sad if you listen to sad songs, and very easily too, right? Um, so these people are really great at using the sound energy. They're able to use the original source of energy, sound, the first source of energy that was existing. And they're able to use it, right, to create different emotions in different people, right? They're able to create this music, sound, and singing, right, that could even raise our own energy, right? And these people have that blessing, right? And this is why I've placed it higher than Brahma, right? Because even the sound energy came before Brahma was there, right? So these guys have that um, that ability, right, with sound as well, as well as with this artistic ability, right? So that's the blessing that these guys have to use the first source of energy that ever existed, right? Okay, moving on to number 4. So what do we have here? Mercury, Rahu, Venus in the second house in Taurus, right? Now, you may think this looks somewhat similar to what we just had with Mercury and Venus, right? But there's some very important and fundamental differences, right? First of which is that this is occurring in the second house in Taurus, right? So both the house and the sign involved is number 2, right? Now, the other very important difference here is that Rahu is involved, right? And again, we're so high up on the list now, we're right just outside the top 3. And we have a malefic that's associated here, right? So how could this be possible, right? So what this combination is doing is that there is a natural money yoga that's happening in this chart, right? Because let's look here, right? We have the second lord, which is Venus, right? And we have the 11th lord, which is Rahu, right? So you have a natural combination of 2 and 11. The two money houses, right, are combining and they're sitting in another money house, right? The second house, right? This is extra powerful that, you have this money combination that's going on, right? And the other thing is that, um, right, Venus is also the lord of the seventh house, right? So 2 and 7 happening here. Right now, what's Mercury doing here, right? So this is naturally making a money yoga with just Venus and Rahu. Now, what is Mercury adding to the table, right? Mercury here is giving this business idea, right? Mercury or Rahu and Venus, right, in the second house or in Taurus, gives you this business mind. He knows how to use money, right? Look at his company. It's the guru, right? The Daitya, the demon, the guru of the demons, right? And Rahu, who are both money planets, right? Who are both very much interested in making money, right? And so Mercury is learning from them to make money as well, right? And so what will Mercury bring? He understands how to manage this money, right? He knows how to do all the business negotiations, right? And this together will make such a powerful combination. Look at Mercury, who's in this particular case, right, was the lord of the third and sixth house, right? So third house is of business exchange, right? Seventh house is also business exchange and partnerships. These people will have like a business and they'll know how to do all the business exchange. They'll maximize profits, right? This is what Mercury's going to do. He will maximize profits, right? So Venus and Rahu bring in the money, right? And Mercury brings in all of the advertisement, right? All of the networking, right? This is what Mercury does. He networks the product and the sales and what you put on the table, right? Mercury's the one who communicates with everyone and gets this out, right? So he can network with everybody, right, across the internet, across the world, right, with even local people. He knows how to get your product sold, right? And he's the Lord of the sixth house of competition, right? Mercury will understand, and sitting with Rahu as well, right? Mercury understands how to get these things sold, how to beat the other competitors. What are the customers looking for, right? He knows, right? And look, you have Venus and Rahu, who Rahu is the planet of illusions, right? He knows how to create very clever business schemes so that people will be more compelled to buy something, right? He knows the psychology of people, right? How to like the business trickery to like in the mind games to make people buy all their products, right? All the tricks of the trade to get people to buy your product, right? This is such a powerful business combination. You'll see some of the greatest business tycoons in this world will have a combination like this, right? This is almost the greatest business combination that you can get, right? There is another one that's better, and that one will be higher up on the list, right? The thing that is kind of stopping this from being the absolute greatest combination is the fact that Mercury is also the sixth lord, right? So while it is good for competitiveness, right? Just know that these people also incur a lot of debts with their money as well too, right? And if there are any other malefic association that affects this, right, those debts might get out of hand, right? So that's the only precaution here, right? But if this has the aspect of other benefics, right? Like if Jupiter aspects this, this will be like top notch, one of the best combinations, right? Like another thing that even supplements this is that, if Sun was sitting in the first house, which would be in Aries, then Sun would be exalted, which would just completely, this person will rule the world. Like this person will rule the business world, uh, period. Then there's no question about it. That would be a phenomenal combination if Sun is also there. The other thing is that in some texts, people consider Rahu exalted in Taurus, right? Some texts say he's exalted here, uh, others don't, right? But there is a reason, even if he's not exalted here, there's a reason that some consider him exalted here. And it's because Rahu does extremely well, right? If you put a demon in a room of money, right, you're putting him right in where he wants to be, right? Uh, right? So this would be another combination where you'd have like a quote unquote exalted planet here, Rahu, with his dispositor Venus and with his friend Mercury, right? Like it can't get much more better than this combination here. This is the greatest combination you'll have. You'll see these people again, they know how to calculate. What Mercury adds to this as well is that he could calculate and do all these calculations with money. He knows exactly how much to invest here and there. He knows exactly how much money should go into making prices for their products, right? So Mercury is really adding that business mind here to do all these written calculations and paperwork, right? So this just boosts this combination even more. Like this combination is phenomenal. If you have this combination, just know are blessed and you are about to rule a very, very successful business in this lifetime, right? You do not get this combination very easily in this life. Very few people will get this combination. And if you do get this combination, this exact combination, then post in the comments because it's very rare, right? Um, But yeah, this is blessings beyond anything that you would have ever thought, right? So let's go on to number three, right? So this may be a bit shocking to some people. Why would this combination be higher, right? Moon Venus in fourth house in Taurus. Again, Taurus involved, right? So what makes this a combination great, right? Now this is great for different reasons, right? This is great for a different audience, right? Because what this combination gives is uh, this gives a very comfortable life. These people will they'll have all the luxuries growing up, right? And why is this the case? Because first of all, you have Moon exalted, right, in Taurus with its dispositor Venus, and Venus has full Digbali, right, being here in the fourth house, right? And this fourth house is the house of nighttime, right? So both Moon and Venus are Digbali. This is when they're at their peak, right? And Moon is exalted with its dispositor. This is an extremely powerful combination. This is the combination where these guys they don't have to do anything and they'll still be rich, right? Like they'll grow up even when they're small, their parents will be rich and they'll have a very nice home, a very nice neighborhood, right? Like technically these guys they'll be so comfortable that even if they never get a job, like they'll still have all the money that they'll need. Like these are the people who grew up in a rich family, right? They would have had an amazing childhood. If you ask these people about their childhood, they'll say that they would have had so many memorable moments, right? Like what do kids really love, right? They love like going to events or and to going to movies or going to like doing activities, right? And you'll see these people, they'll say things that, every day they'll have like something to say. They'll say, "Oh, me and my parents, we went to a movie last night," or we went to an arcade, or we went to. You'll see even these people like they'll say things like here you'll see like their family is so close, right? Like their family is very loving as well as being extremely rich. Like these guys, um, they do not have to work hard, right? So the audience here is very different than what it was in number four. The number four is for business people who wanted to make a lot of money on their own, but these people are naturally born with all these resources and all this wealth already there, right? Now again, this combination this is a bit more common per se, right? Because Moon and Venus will at least happen once a month. You get a Moon Venus combination, right? Um, once a month, and then at night in that particular day, right? You'll have this combination, right? So this is like a once in a month combination, but then to have this happen in Taurus, right, is another story. That's what really like amplifies this combination, right? So the people who get this are generally born around uh May, May, May or June, right? May, June, even April, right? Around this part of the year, you'll see people have this opportunity to get this, right? So that's the combination, a once a month combination. Uh, uh, to get this specific thing, it's a uh, once a month type of combination, right? And it only happens on one part of the year, right? So super powerful combination that you have here. And not as common, right? You'll see these people as well. They'll have really great stories like this, right? Like they'll say that their family owns like a yacht or a boat, right? Or has their family has their own plane or something like this, right? You'll see these people, they'll always go on vacations. If you ask them, they'll be like, yeah, we're, you know, in the middle of the school year, they'll be like, yeah, we're going on vacation for like 2 weeks. That's these people who have this combination, right? Like, think about that one kid in the class who's just gone on like a vacation in the middle of the year, right? That's these guys, right? Um, so yeah, these people, they're really just living a very relaxing life, and they don't have to work hard at all in this life, right? So it's good for those people, right, who want a comfortable life like that. All right, number two, right? Top two now. So this combination here, Moon, Venus, Jupiter, right? Now this could be in any sign, right? Um, the two best signs that work here are Taurus, uh, Pisces. Sagittarius works well here as well, um, and Cancer, right? So those three signs, right? Um, Taurus, Pisces, Cancer, they work the best because one of these planets will be exalted, right? So why is this combination extremely good, right? These three guys here, right? And this is really great for marriage, right? Because what you'll be, and this is what everybody's looking for, right? Like, uh, not everybody's interested in wealth, right? Not everybody's is looking for creativity or music or uh, boats or yachts, right? Or expensive things. So a lot of, right? One thing that's very common with like most people in this world, right? Everybody is looking for love and this validation, right? And to feel wanted and feel cherished and appreciated, right? That's a feeling, that's a sentiment that's like in 90% of the population, right? Almost everybody's has this desire to feel loved by somebody and appreciated, right? And that's what this combination is, right? You'll see your spouse will be so loving and caring towards you, right? Your spouse will be extremely beautiful, right? That moon Venus brings that over here, right? That beautifulness. Um, right? So that beauty. Now, what does Jupiter bring to the table here? And it's that it brings a very devoted spouse, right? So these people will always be by your side, right? These people will stick with you through thick and thin, right? Through the worst periods of your life, these people will stick with you, right? So you'll have someone who's very affectionate, very like they love being by your side, right? Um, you'll see how like they're so attached to you too. Like these people, their love for you is like on a different level. It's like they're like completely intoxicated and like completely fallen for you, right? Like that's this combination. Um, So you'll, when you're with your spouse, right, you'll feel like a love and appreciate, like you'll really feel like that feeling in your chest of just like the butterflies in your stomach, right? Like you'll feel that with these people, right? Like you'll have such a great marriage, right? Like you'll have an understanding with each other, right? Um, and you'll see your spouse will also be extremely wise, right? Not only will they be great looking, right, and be extremely attractive, but they'll be and very intelligent too. They'll be very wise. They'll be very understanding, right, towards you, right? So this combination is extremely good for that, for marital life, right? These people, it is extremely rare for these people to ever get divorced, right? Like your spouse will stay with you and you guys will be happy, right? The only way that these people get divorced is if somehow the Lord of this sign is debilitated or is in sixth or eighth house, or is the Lord is with K2. right? Or if K2 and Saturn aspect this, if K2 and Saturn both aspect this, it's going to put a lot of strain on the marriage, right? But all these benefits still will save it, right? So it's very hard for these people to even get divorces. Like, well, it's hard for them to hate each other, right? Like that, you'll not like these people will get along even with like arranged marriage or love marriage, no matter which one it is. Like the two will love each other so much and just right have this respect. You'll see your spouse will also be very religious in this case as well, right? So you're really getting like all in one here. Everything you could ask for, you're getting here, right? Um, yeah. On to number one, right? And again, please leave a like and subscribe if you like this content, right? So I can make more top 10 lists later on, right? So, what is the best combination that you can get, in my opinion, is Venus, Rahu, Mercury in the 11th house in Gemini, right? Now, why is this such a powerful combination, right? Now, this is another business combination, right? So, just like number four, where we also had Venus, Rahu, Mercury, right? That was a business combination, but this one's on a different level, right? Because look, here you have Venus Rahu in the 11th house, right? So Venus Rahu again, they are already making a natural second and 11th combination, right? Because Venus naturally is the Lord of Taurus, the second house, and Rahu naturally the Lord of the 11th house, right, are coming together. But you're adding extra flair here. Mercury is the lord of both houses, right? Uh, and is sitting in this 11th house, right? In his own sign, right? Now, this is another combination where you'll see a lot of scholars, they'll debate, uh, people debated before if Rahu is exalted in Taurus. Other people will say that Rahu is exalted in Gemini, right? Now, regardless if you think he's exalted here or if he's exalted in Taurus, right? What really matters, like, there's a reason why people think Rahu is exalted here, because Rahu does extremely well with the energy of Mercury, right, in Gemini. This Rahu and Taurus makes someone who's very good with money. Rahu here makes someone extremely good with business, right? These people really understand how to manipulate other people so that they could buy their products, right? They know all the tricks to make people buy everything, right? You'll see these people, this combination here in this 11th house, right? This is naturally Rahu's house, the 11th house, right? These people, they'll do whatever is necessary to make their financial gains, right? You'll see these guys, they'll do things like tantra, mantra, yantras, right? They'll do all those tricks, they'll do things. Okay, I'm going into an important business meeting right now. Okay, let me bring some salt with me. Let me put some uh, salt in my shoe. Let me put some rub this oil on my forehead. Let me put like the certain perfume on me. Like these people will do that and they'll do it successfully, right? Venus is the guru who will advise Rahu and Mercury how to do this, right? And that's what will make them do these things, and they will do it successfully. You'll see these people, even from a young age, they'll know how to make money easily. They'll make a sale so easily, even if they've had no prior experience, right? Now, what makes this way better than the combination we had before is the lordships, right? Because we have Mercury, Lord of 11th and second house, Venus, the Lord of 10th house and third house, and Rahu's the lord of seventh house, right? So you have all three business houses combined, right? Three, 3, 7, 11 combined, right? Um, and you have a natural money combination going on over here, right? So, and you have Venus, who's the lord of the 10th house. So from their career, they will make money like nobody else, right? And right before there's the issue with like them taking a lot of debts, right? And they could potentially lose money. Like these people, they do not lose money very often unless there's like a malefic association like Saturn on here, right? But otherwise, these people, they make money. They can make money to such an extent here that they could rule the world. Like that's these people. They could rule like the people who are at the highest peak, like the people who really control this world have this combination, right? Like these are the people who work behind the scenes and uh who are really the ones in power. That's these people, right? Because this is such a powerful combination. Um, right? That's them, right? Like they know how to make money from a young age. They know how to invest money. They play with stock markets like it's nothing, right? Like they know when the stock market's about to crash or gain, right? They know exactly when to invest, when to take money out of stocks, right? These guys know that. They rule the business world without a doubt. Nobody could stand up to these guys, and especially because these guys know how to do the tantra, mantra, yantras, all their tricks of their trade. They know because they know how to do this, nobody can compete with these guys, right? No matter how good you think you are, you can't compete with these guys because they will get it done, right? One way or another. And it's as if these guys, whenever they touch anything, they will bring business to you, right? Somehow or some way, right? The closer in degrees that these guys are, the more powerful that this becomes, right? So these guys really dominate the business world, right? They easily can make their own business and become a multi-million dollar company, right? Um, So this makes the top 10 uh, combinations of Venus, right? If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a comment on what you guys think I should do for the top 10 next, which planet, right? Or even concepts like what are the top 10 combinations for marriage or for money or for career. If you guys are interested, leave a comment below. Please leave a please leave a like and subscribe and hit that bell icon. And I'll see you next time.